Hello, hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We've got Link to the Past Randomizer 2024 tournament action coming hot and fast right at you. We have Group AC with its top qualifier, Zelga, and the third quartile qualifier, Lanabean. Calling this race, I'm Reg, I'm joined by Jossie. So Jossie, what do we got today?
Hey, yeah, we've got AD keys with boots, which is exactly what's written on the tin. All dungeons, key sanity, and you start with boots. Um, if we can get boots up on the tracker. But yeah, zelgadissan is up 2-0 so far, having taken a win off of Lanabean already and a win off of a Rabid Wombat. Lanabean and Rabid Wombat have split with each other, so that Lana is currently 1-2, as is a Rabid Wombat. The fourth member, Tenet, has not played yet, so if Zelga wins this, he'll go to 3-0, be in very good position for moving forward. If Lanabean wins this, she'll be in good position because, again, a Rabid Wombat's already taken 2 losses, so...
Yeah. And it's going to come down, if Lana can win this, like you said, very strong position to move on, even at, what is it, 2-2? But
Right.
with Tenet not having any games at all yet, that does kind of throw a wrench in things, so...
Yeah.
But you still, if you're Lanabean, you really, really don't want to be losing this race. Because
Right.
if you do, your advancement prospects probably look like Zelga going 6-0.
Right.
And then you picking up the pieces.
And the flip side is Zelga being, based on historical record, the strongest runner in this group. If you can take a win off of Zelga, you've automatically positioned yourself very well because it's entirely likely that the 2 other people in the division won't be able to take wins off him.
Yep. And we are starting here, Map of Hera. That's key sanity for you. Not only are the keys everywhere, but the maps and compasses as well.
Yeah, with the boot start, Sank is pretty popular because then you can immediately go over to Bonk Rocks. That's a free check. Usually go up to Lumberjack because you know you're going to have to do Aga at some point anyway, and you know you have the boots.
Yep. And overall, it's just a Link's House start doesn't offer you quite as much.
Yeah, right there. Tree pulls you can set up here. You can check out bush crabs. Hope you get some bombs for CAC.
Just 5s all the way around, but do that a couple times, you'll be able to afford the bombs.
Yeah. Or probably what we'll see is checking a tier 2 or 3 tree pull in the Lost Woods.
Yeah. Ooh, Lana killing the bush crab. I guess that was probably intentional.
And Zelga just dodged the bush crab.
I didn't catch what that was on Lumberjack. That's a hook shot.
Oh. Yeah, I saw something small. I couldn't tell if it was Hook or Samaria, but Hook's kind of a big deal.
We kind of need that.
Yeah.
This is all dungeons. Hey, there's bombs, but we're going to have to go to Swamp Palace eventually. And actually, I guess the other thing, people have probably seen a good chunk of it in this tournament already, but this is true all-dungeon key sanity. It's not like the faux AD keys that we've run in the past. Both, I believe, main tournament and league both ran it, where the castle tower keys are kept vanilla.
Yeah. But since the hook shot is on Lumberjack, we know that we are not going to have CT small for go mode, because we're going to need to beat Swamp at some point.
And that is things you love to see. Alternatively, we could, and then it would just be go mode Swamp, but that would be a little bit nasty.
Making a nice specky-proof Swamp in that case. Speaking of Swamp, hello Flippers.
That's a good find there. I do notice Lanabean got 7 bombs, picked up, I think, a 4-pack off the last drop of the bush crab.
And Lanabean also has more money. I didn't see where that money came from.
That was also extra bush crab farming. Lana went out of her way to get more there. But it does mean that Zelga is, in the immediate term, slightly ahead on the checks.
Yeah,
So.
as we find more bombs in the well, so we aren't going to need to purchase them in the immediate future. Okay. I spoke Swamp into existence, clearly.
Yeah, even if we gotta buy the bombs, that 300 rupees is good. And that Turtle Rock Big Key is another one that can be a bit tricky to try to work around.
Yeah, it does. Since this isn't entrance shuffle, it does lock a chunk of the dungeon.
Yeah, that entire second half. But
And we paid Bottle Vendor $100 for a mushroom, so verdict is out on whether that $100 was well spent or not.
yeah, but having it means that, well, we've got the flippers. We don't even need to do the fake flipper strats to get up to the witch to check that after a save and quit to Link's house. Be curious if either runner does that immediately or if they prioritize their other checks first. Because South Shore definitely a bit more dense from the same save and quit.
Looks like Lana's thinking.
Not sure what's going on there.
To? Her timer's still going, so it's not like her screen froze.
Yep.
Another $50 on the library, so we'll take that. Try to get up to Zora range, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with those early flippers putting Zora in logic.
Being well shy of that 500. And the blind check of the race game for Zelga. I mean, no sword means that you can't dash through it and get that 6-second clear on the race game, but still a pretty fast check. And you're saving quit out of here anyways.
Yeah, a little surprising since we did find a bit of stuff in CAC. But small key, right. In Key Sanity, the chances of it being a key are high enough, and then you're going to get it. And hey, one of our CT smalls.
Yep, and that's what I've been waiting to see since we pulled really those flippers, but also that Swamp Small. We are definitely speaking it into existence here.
But of course, we still need either a sword and cake or 2 swords to be able to do it in addition to the 2 small keys. And we've been finding big keys quite a bit. That Hera Big in Link's house was our 3rd one. We've already gotten, as we mentioned, TR, but also Ice.
Yep. Ice Palace Big Key is largely skippable with the tricks these runners have available to them, but still a good logical piece to help point you if that's where your stuff is.
And also, you don't want to orphan Ice Big Chest if there's something in it. Oh. Well, let's scream Aga a bit louder, shall we?
Yeah, just a bit louder. And also, we can, I guess probably don't really need it for the Dark Cross check, but if you're going to go to Aga, you're going to check the castle escape area first. Usually, at least.
Right. I mean, and it might be required. It might have your sword.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. Knowing that this is probably going to be an early Aga seed is reassuring to know that we probably will get an early sword.
Yeah, which is always just very comfortable. It's not fun to go an hour without a sword, even though it does happen occasionally.
Yeah, I calmed a race last night where the first sword was about at the 50-minute mark.
Yeah, you do a lot of running around and just dodging enemies rather than fighting them. Which fighting is slow, but...
There's our CT2!
So 2 Castle Tower keys. We've also got 2 Palace of Darkness small keys, which 6 of them, so we're only a third of the way there. You can full clear it on 4 if you are willing to be slow and do some tricks.
Of course, we'd need the big key for that.
Yeah.
But even just with 2, you can get to the back. Not in logic, but it's still a lot of checks available.
Right. And Palace of Darkness is kind of the place to go right after Aga if you're not going to rush for that hook shot to cross the river.
Assuming we have the Moon Pearl by then.
True. We might be setting up for a case where our Moon Pearl is on, say, the east side of the mountain.
But there's Glove, which is part of our Dark World access. We can do Back of Escape nice and easy with that.
Yep.
Also got the Skull Big, so that's 4 big keys within the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, that one, I was talking about Ice Palace earlier, that one is a straight up fetch quest.
Yeah.
But if you have to orphan it, it's also not too bad. Still nicer to have than not, though. Zelga showing no intent of the slow 20 rupees at a time farming there. Would need to do it 6-7 times.
Well, there is that Moon Pearl, so there we go. Right, he does have the glove, so he could farm if he wanted to, but it looks like he's more interested in the other flipper checks for the moment.
Yeah, makes sense, because that farm is way slow. Might see Lana do it, but even that would need to be 5 times doing it. Nope.
Gotta check the island first.
Oh, he has flippers. He stepped onto the shallow water and lost it.
Oops. Big key on the island, so we'll want to get that at some point.
Yep. Because you can't go skipping any big keys with Skull Woods in hand and all the other ones still outstanding. It could be Swamp, I guess. That's
Right.
the other.
Then you'd have to get every big key but Swamp to know that.
Yeah. So, considering the requirements to get to that island, we're basically just a mirror in Dark World. Okay, a mirror away.
Yeah, there's our Dark World access. That's kind of interesting because, again, we do need either a sword and a cape or 2 swords for Aga, and now we have Dark World access.
Yeah, and we know that Aghanim is required even outside of the AD qualifier. Okay, this is going to be back of escape for Zelga here, but Lana doing the Zora's area checks. We did not see those from Zelga.
And she is $66 short. Yeah, I think the Dark World access had Zelga decide, I'm going to deprioritize Zora for the time being.
Yeah, with not having enough money, now he does, but...
Yeah. Ooh, that's our first bottle on Zora Ledge. That could be interesting.
Yeah, and Lana is going to go chase it. Doesn't have enough to pay Zora, so is isolating that check really hard. But that bottle is going to open up a fetch quest on its own.
Yeah, and since we do have the mitts and the boots, Zelga is going to do King's Tomb here.
Good decision, because you'll never be closer to King's Tomb than you are at a save and quit the Sank without the mirror.
And he could probably just swim across and go straight to Zora from here if he wanted to do that area.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see that. It's a bit slow of a walk, just to do it the vanilla way, but...
Yeah, looks like he's more interested in Cack Portal.
Yeah. And since we know, well, I say we know, but unless the mirror is on Zora or behind that bottle at Sick Kid, I would expect Zelga to just come back then, especially with the Hylia Island having that key on it that he'll have to go for eventually. Hylia Island and Zora is a pretty solid play.
Yeah, so I imagine with that Skullwood's big key, we'll do the front. We obviously can't do the back without Fire Rod and a sword.
Could do the bridge chest with just Fire Rod, but we're still missing that even.
Yeah. It's interesting. You don't usually wind up in situations where you actually need a sword for logic rather than for convenience.
Yeah, it's usually just Aga, really, but Skull Woods does come into play sometimes. Zelga's showing us the stuff that inverted players really need to know. How to do this room with absolutely nothing, and doing a good job with it, mostly.
Hey, at least we're up to 5 hearts.
Yeah, that Gibdo was trying to mess with him, but did a good job not taking any hits there.
Lana, meanwhile, gets her lamp. Zelga, I assume, will steal the small key from here to take to the front.
Yeah, just safety, convenience, plenty of pot small keys in this dungeon.
And Lana's going to check Saha, looks like.
Okay.
Zelga, as we know, won't touch Eastern without both the Eastern Big and the bow, so I don't know where he'll route Saha into all that, but he's well known for not touching Eastern until he can full clear it.
Yeah. Which makes me a little bit sad as an Eastern Palace enjoyer. Okay, that's 2 items out of Skull Woods, so...
And Zelga not too happy as we find the Ice Rod in Saha's closet. Zelga does not like male upgrades before Mirror because he's a big fan of Death Warping, and
yeah,
male upgrades makes that tough.
Well, there's one.
Yeah, or you could take a death while trying to bomb jump.
Yeah, that was not intentional on Zelga's part. A little bit unfortunate with his bomb jump. He's trying to set it up because if you do the dash, you've got to, what is it, I think 3 extra pixels you can stand on that are good for the bomb jump.
Yeah. Problem is he's down to his last bomb now.
Yeah, and that I think is why he gave up on doing the bomb jump there.
Oh, Eastern Big! How about that? Now we just need a bow.
And speaking of, we do have Lanabean actually going into Eastern Palace. Didn't leave it at just Sahasrolo. Powder.
There's Verna.
So Lana's found a fetch quest. Zelga, I mean, he found the armor upgrade. Berna can get you some Spike Cave access, and we're going to see the vanilla strats for the big chest there.
Lana's found a fetch quest that we can't do without either the hammer or the mirror.
Got to imagine that one of those, if not both, will be coming along, though.
Ooh, Pod Big. And as we know, there's always a bow in Pod, so there's your Eastern solved, right?
Is it a bow in pod or a pod key in pod?
It's usually a bow-locked bow in Pod.
True. We do have Zelga's going to go scout out the bumper cave, it looks like, because cave is quite possibly our Aganon access here, but it's not going to do anything for us there.
So I guess we do Village now.
Yeah, village and the usual south loop down to the so-called Hype Cave.
Yeah, take Smith on a world tour.
Yep. And then just save and quit back to Sanctuary and turn him in.
And probably do Front of Thieves while we're here, because those 4 checks can basically be treated as overworld.
Yeah, they're fast, they're convenient. You can do them real easy with nothing.
Lana, meanwhile, doing Eastern Big Key Chest, which is in logic with that lamp.
Yep.
Oh, nice frozen enemy attack.
That's something that I enjoy seeing it. My favorite is the green guard in the ball and chain room in Escape.
Oh yes, when you can
enough.
get it to bounce off the ball and chain guard.
Yep.
So, yeah, Powder and Pod Big are nice things to have gotten out of Eastern, but no immediate indication that they're immediate progression.
Yeah. There's your mail, Zelga. Have fun.
Yeah, poor Zelga.
Especially because he wants to death warp out of pod. Or not pod, Thieves Town, sorry.
Yeah, which is why he keeps running into all these enemies.
Yeah.
Down to 2 hearts, we're fine.
Yeah, it won't be too bad.
And Lana's about to get her mitts.
And that'll send her probably off to the Dark World.
Hammer's a big deal.
Yeah,
so now we can combo in hammer pegs.
Yeah.
And that makes Magic Bat available.
Yes, when Lana presumably follows pretty much the same route Zelga's doing here. Turn in that Smith, do Magic Bat alongside it. That's something Zelga's not going to be able to do if that is anything worth doing.
Unless a bow appears and he suddenly does Eastern.
Even if he gets a bow, would he rush Eastern before doing that, though? Because he's already on the loop.
Right. And at that point, you have to, once you pick up the Smith, you probably want to get rid of the Smith.
Yeah, you're very hard committed to that play once you pick up the Smith.
Especially since we don't have a mirror, so we have to save and quit to get back to the light world.
Yep. Unless we get it right here off the dig game specifically. Because I guess really getting it... Well, I guess it's Stumpy you might turn around, but in Hype Cave you definitely wouldn't.
Okay, sword's important.
Yeah, need 2 of those to win the game.
And unless we find the cape, we need 2 of them to get into Agate Tower as well.
Yep, which is required dungeon on its own, plus that hook shot. And it's just convenient, especially with the boots.
And Sick Kid has a TR small, which we will need eventually, but there's no urgency.
Right. You can usually get away with skipping one of those, but not even always.
Yeah, but We don't yet have Samaria. We don't yet have any medallions. Oh,
Yeah.
hello, book.
It's just a matter of assuming Zelga sticks to his guns on Eastern, which he has no real reason not to. What could possibly advantage Lanabean here?
Didn't we find a desert big key somewhere, or am I misremembering? I don't see it on the tracker, but I thought I saw something about
That we saw Desert Green Pendant at Sahasrara.
Oh, that was the mention of desert. Never mind.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of nothing in this 5-item cave.
Yeah, and we don't have the mirror to check Bombos with.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, but worst case, you just loop it in with Swamp Palace is a fairly good time to do it.
And Zelga is not going to talk to the bomb vendor to see what our 5-6 are. He is going to Pyramid to check that item. Which is a little surprising because we know we're going to have to beat Aga 1 relatively soon. And then, of course, Pyramid Ledge is a free check once you do that.
I mean, it might not have to be that soon.
Oh, okay. Useful. Very useful.
We need that. And now we can turn back around.
Yeah, now we do Catfish Zora.
Okay, yeah, I guess. I was thinking turn right around that. I was thinking Hylia Island into Zora, because we know that big key is there.
Oh, I see. Oh, right, yeah, we can't do it in the other direction.
Yeah.
But if we do Hylia Island into Zora, then we orphan Catfish, so either way, it's orphaning something.
Yeah, and I guess Hylia Island is much easier to get back to with that hammer in hand. You can just use the Dark World Portal south of Link's house. So yeah, I mean, really, I do think you're right. This is the better option, probably. Because orphaning Catfish, not very fun if you have to go back. Lana, meanwhile, we do have running through Skull Woods. There wasn't that much to find here, as I recall, besides the Pod Big that's right here.
That was
Eastern Big, yeah.
Yeah, Pod Big is in Eastern.
Desanity, man.
So now Lana has this awkward thing where she's orphaned the Eastern Big and probably isn't going to get it until she gets a bow to go back and beat Armos.
Yeah.
And Zora giving us love lesson. Zelga, even with the mirror, doesn't want it, even though he doesn't have to worry about death warping anymore.
I mean, 7 Hearts Red Mail, you got to imagine that Zelga is super comfy right now as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a spoiler runner. 7 Hearts Red Mail is a luxury.
Yeah, I think the general benchmark for spoiler races is that still 7 Hearts Blue?
Mm-hmm. Because that basically allows you to tank 1 Ganon hug.
Yeah. So he's definitely pretty chill on this right now, I've got to imagine.
Oh, right, now that we have the mirror, it's easier to just finish the Smith chain this way, and we can check Cave 45 and Bombos tablet on the way to the purple chest.
Yep. Very strong position here as far as just not isolating checks.
Yeah, the only thing is, as you said, we will be isolating Magic Bat, though that's easy enough to get back to.
Yep. The question for the Magic Bat is more, when is Zelga going to get that powder at all, rather than when will he do it?
Once he gets a bow. I'm just amazed that, like, Pyramid Ledge was actually something really important. And something that you want before beating Aga, even though you know that'll take you back to Pyramid Ledge. And there's Lana's hammer.
Gifting that map, I guess in 80 it doesn't really matter because you're doing them all anyways.
Right. I mean, at a certain point, it's nice to know what the pendants are just in terms of what might be in GT if you're still looking for Go mode.
Yeah, and potentially like what gives you access, because Zelga doesn't have the green pendant information, skipped out on the bomb vendor for that 5-6 information.
Hey, there's a shield. Lana's gonna be so happy when she gets that.
Good news is she's still a few minutes away from that not having the mirror herself quite yet.
Yeah, she will need to do the full south loop.
And actually the question is, will Lana take the Smith all the way up to Pyramid and Catfish, having already done Zora? So I could see that being skipped.
Well, depends what's on Cave 45 here. Just another map.
Yeah. There's still also Bombos behind that mirror.
Right. We can find out what's on it. We can't actually get it.
True.
But that actually saves time if it's junk, because you don't have to watch the animation and you never come back.
And Bombos has the longest animation. Not by much, but... Actually, the other thing, though, is we have access to pretty much the full Death Mountain at this point, besides Hookshot Cave itself. Which I guess even then we can get inside that, get one of the 3 checks.
Yeah. I think since we're down here, we do want to scout Desert because we have the book if there's something good on the ledge. No, Zelga going back to the Dark World.
What's here? Oh, Hylia Island. He's getting that.
Oh, right. Wants that big key. I mean, if that's the Desert Big Key, then this is going to be a really good play.
Right.
Lana gets her first sword.
Nana is backtracking for the Smith, as you would expect in a situation like this. No reason to skip this.
And hey, it's the Desert Big Key. Guess we're gonna go beat Desert now.
Or not.
Or not.
Going to Sanctuary instead. This, I'm gonna guess, is probably Death Mountain.
That's true. We can do all of Light Death Mountain in Logic. And with the Hera Big Key, we can beat Hera too. And check Ether, and yeah, we... The only thing in the Light World we can't do is Hera Basement.
Yeah.
And we even have Burna to put Spike Cave in Logic.
Oh yeah, we do. Okay. Hera Swamp being our 5-6s.
Leading me to wonder if Pyramid Fairy's gonna be something, because once we get that hook shot, Swamp's available.
Yeah, which basically means as soon as we get the cape or that second sword, it's basically available.
Right.
We do have the spin speed there from Zelga, dodging all the falling rocks. Check out the inside of Spectacle Rock, because the top isn't anything.
Nor is the inside. What do you think? Spike Cave now or Spike Cave at the end? Probably Spike Cave at the end.
Yeah, at the end, because I guess you could super speed out of it. Try to...
Well, I was thinking at that point
magic.
you just save and quit. Myers Small, don't really need that, but it's nice to know where it is logically for when the left side might be in Logic.
Yeah, because left side does logically require all the keys, barring some shenanigans with the big key, which I feel like I remember hearing didn't actually apply in Key Sanity, but...
I think it does. I think it might be Entrance where Key Sanity where it doesn't, but I think regular Key Sanity it does.
Okay.
Another Pod Small, that'll be good for when we get there.
Yep, up to 3 now. And of course, one Meyer Small is
wait.
convenient, but...
Did Lana go straight to Catfish skipping Pyramid Ledge?
No. Has some air equipped.
Oh, okay, it's just not her tracker was behind. Okay.
There we are.
Cool. So she'll do Zora as well, not that it makes a difference, but...
Mm-hmm. Map Misery Mire. Lana is going to go pay Zora, get not very much out of it. But...
And if Moldorm doesn't have anything for us, it's really making me feel like the purpose of giving us early Moldorm access is that Pyramid Fairy's something.
Yeah, that's sounding increasingly realistic at this point. Especially because we've got that whole set of checks on the East Mountain to give us that second Sword Lord of the Cape to kill Aghanim with. And where's Lana going?
Very nice hammer Moldorm there.
Okay, Lana's going for the save and quit. And there's nothing in Hera.
Yeah, I mean, a pod small's nice, but yeah, nothing
Oh yeah, that is
giving
true. That
immediate
was
progression.
But we'll see the east side of the mountain before we've got to worry about anything else on Zelga's side.
Yeah. It is just kind of crazy that we know we need to do Aga, and that hookshot will make us able to do Swamp and get Pyramid Fairy, and we're still looking for either Master Sword or Cape.
Yeah, and we're half an hour in. We're on one sword. That's probably pretty average. But getting Dark World access and just opening up this seed did just sort of... Yeah. You can see how happy Lana is to have that shield. Left a pair of bombs for the Smiths. And here's that magic bat check. Zelga found nothing in Spiral Cave.
And Magic Bat's nothing either.
So for Chad asking, for anybody who arrived to this race slightly late, we need Aga for two reasons. First off, this is all dungeons. Aghanim is part of the definition of that. More importantly, at the start of the race, we saw the hook shot on the Lumberjack. Which means we need Aghanim to be able to clear Swamp Palace. And with that being one of the 5-6, with the other one being Tower of Hera that Zelga has already cleared, we are looking... We're giving Pyramid Fairy more than a bit of a side-eye right now. But nothing happening on the east side of the mountain, it looks like, for Zelga. We'll see if the Dark World's got anything in its 4 checks left. I guess there was a Ganon's Tower small key. That's not nothing.
The first one is nice for routing. It's definitely nice for routing once you hit GT.
Yeah, there's several dungeons like that too. Ice Palace, Misery Mire, Ganon's Tower.
So, Zelga gonna open TR Portal. He can't do anything with it because we don't have any medallions.
Does confirm Bombos. And it is just faster to use this portal, have it open for later to get both the Super Bunny and Hookshot Caves.
Yeah. And bonking, we can get one item in Hookshot Cave and Logic. Mire big.
Mire small.
Mire small. And we know there's another Mire small on Ether Tablet, too.
Yep.
Which Lana's about to find out.
That Mire small is great for routing, but you don't generally need more than that unless you're not completely... Oh.
It's mostly to tell us about the left side being in Logic, as we discussed.
Yeah, it's about the logic. I'm just thinking, generally speaking, I don't think any runner in the tournament actually needs that key.
Zelga giving one try on the hover. He is not much of a hoverer, but I guess he figured he'd give it one shot.
Yeah, you're there. Just give it the old college try, and if it don't go, move on.
And now we're down to Spike Cave.
Yep. Gonna look for the health refill, even though he's only missing 1 heart.
Saves a little bit of magic the longer you can go without having to activate Burna.
Yep.
or we'll just activate it anyway.
Yeah, could have waited till he had just one heart left. I guess did deactivate it there to the same effect.
And other than getting a 5-6 crystal, Meyer Big was probably the most interesting thing we got on the mountain.
That's not coming into play without the flute and a medallion. We don't know which yet.
Okay, now Zelga is going to go to Sahan, maybe even into Eastern, just because we're running out of options.
He's going into pod first, which, especially with him and his, we'll call it the love of Eastern Palace. Pod first makes a lot of sense.
Or else, I mean, some runners will also open pod, pay off Kiki, then mirror and do Eastern, and then use their portal back to do pod.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Once you're at the door, I feel like it's largely a matter of preference. Like, I think technically, especially in Key Sanity, pod has more checks that aren't locked by the bow. But
yeah,
it's really a 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Now, we don't have any potion unless he somehow... No, we went to the potion shop before we even had the bottle. So, yeah, there's no potion to potion glitch, so if he wants to go up the Bollock side, he'd have to mimic clip.
Which, I'm pretty sure I've seen him do that a fair few times.
I'm sure he can, it's just, does he want to?
Yeah.
And Lana also unlocking TR Portal, going to get new news about Bombos. I don't know Lana's hovering skill, do you?
I do not. We are pod first for Zelga here, as Lana's going for Hookshot Cave first. I mean, we know we're not going to pull the Hookshot out of Super Bunny Cave, so it is whichever you prefer. Oh, chat saying Lana... Well then.
Okay, so that cape puts Aga in logic, puts Hookshot in logic, puts Pyramid Fairy in logic.
And chat saying Lana already hovered once this race, and I just kind of missed it because it was to the Skullwoods big chest.
There's our second TR small as well. Zelga going straight for the back.
I think that's understandable. The back's where all the checks are.
Right. Except that he can't do the big chest because the big key's in Eastern.
Yep. But he'll have all the doors open to come right back for it when the time comes.
Meanwhile, Lana gave up on the hover after a couple of tries. So we will get no new information from her mountain journey. Oh! Hello, Flute. And Bloomerang.
Yeah. So, do you think Zelga goes into Eastern after this, standing right at the door?
Would be funny if there's a vanilla bow.
It would be.
But yeah, he has so many options, including activating the flute and doing a quick check of Meyer area before he even does Aga Tower.
I would expect Aga Tower to probably be first on the list, but your fast travel option. I mean, Flute doesn't really get you to the castle any faster than Save and Quit does, but still nice just mentally to be able to...
Oh,
okay, never mind.
I think we do Eastern.
I do too.
First we do Bollock side of Pod, but then we do Eastern. And then we go back and finish Pod because we'll have the big key having done Eastern.
Yeah, so it's going to be a few more minutes before Zelga heads off to either the Flute statue or to Aghanim.
So I was right about a bow in Pod, I was just wrong about the bow being bow-locked.
Yeah. It might still be bow-locked depending on where the remaining pod keys are.
I suppose if we find a pod small over here on the right side, that would make it bow-locked.
Yeah, or on Armos Knights.
Oh, second GT small.
That saves you killing a Moldorm. Or not a Moldorm, a Helmasaur, assuming you're not looking for items anymore when you get the GT.
Right. I mean, in Key Sanity, you love hitting GT in go mode and just doing the climb.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just not possible, unfortunately, but... Zelga's sitting on Mirror there with his quick swap.
Right. And so Zelga also, having found the powder now and having the flute, he can combo flute activation with magic bat check, though we know that's nothing.
Yeah, but it's still just good efficiency in your routing to do things like that.
Oh, for sure. But yes, Zelga's hatred of non-full clearable Eastern isn't really costing him other than the slight inconvenience of not having Pod Big Key his first time in Pod.
I mean, would you rather have to redo the parts of Pod with the big key or redo Eastern without the bow?
Since we don't know where the bow is, where the other bow is, for all we know, it is a forced double dip of either Eastern or Pod.
Right.
Oh, and yeah, that Desert Big Key again. We still have that available, and it's the green pendant.
Yep, which does give our runners some incentive to head over there. Key Sanity Desert is not bad density.
Oh, and there's another Pod Small in the Eastern Big Chest, which we did not see from Lana.
Yeah, we'll see that fairly soon, though, because Lana's going back for Pod now. With that bow and Pod definitely going to be cleaning up Eastern afterwards. Lake Hylia was the Desert Palace big key. Now we will have Zelga headed towards the back of Eastern Palace here. Lanabean heading into Palace of Darkness. And there's the first of the treasure in Pod for Lanabean, which opens up more routing questions after we finish this area.
So what do we even still need? Fire Rod, Thieves Big, Samaria, and a medallion or two, and I think that's about it. Oh, and another couple of TR Smalls.
Yeah, TR Smalls, Ganon's Tower Big as well is still missing.
I see one TR Small marked for Zelga. I thought he had two.
Trying to remember, one was on Sick Kid. I think the other one, was it in Hera or East Death Mountain?
Yeah, so both runners should have gotten both of them. Because I know they
Yeah.
both did Sick Kid, and they obviously full cleared Death Mountain.
Right. Lana's mimic clipping here. I am admittedly not that familiar with what constitutes a good mimic clip, but that seemed pretty solid to me.
It was fast. That's generally what constitutes a good one.
That's all that matters.
And Zelga going to the back with one extra small key here. I'm guessing he'll probably do Harmless Hellway. Yep.
Yeah, Harmless Hellway, then Hammer Jump again. Because 4 Pod Smalls is a full clear if you never open the front door and you Hammer Jump. But
we've opened the front door.
Yeah, so that just means you skip the vanilla big key, because that one is fairly easy to get back to, especially with the front door open. We do see Lana bomb jumping
That's
through the
not
arena
a
room.
bomb jump you see very often.
Nope. It is quite convenient when you do it, but it is not one that you see very frequently.
And, well, just junk in the back of Pod. I mean, the Bow and the flute were big deals, but we already got those.
Yeah. Lana's just now getting to them, though, and going to be very happy to have them.
Alas, we have to push the statue because we don't have Samaria.
Yeah. Oh well. It's not that slow, at least. And now we get to watch a wall move. That is definitely slower than pushing the statue. Now Lana about to grab the bow. Save and quit instead of mirror and finish Eastern. I'm surprised. Because Lana didn't have a small key to actually go clear the dungeon to open the locked door there. But if she had gone to
Harmless
Eastern,
Hellway.
Yeah. If she had gone to Eastern though, well, no, she had big key. No, she didn't have big key.
Right, she didn't have Eastern Big Key, so she'd need to get the 4th pod key from Eastern Big Chest.
Yeah, which she could have just done alongside killing Armos, but opted not to. Instead is just rushing the castle area, bit excited about going to Aghanim that she skipped Uncle, but turning back around for it. Nice single arrow. A nice hammer kill on Helma there. There's nothing really there. Yeah.
Was Eastern a crystal? I can't remember.
I don't think we know.
Oh, I thought he finished it. He must have finished it when he went back in there.
Oh, yeah, duh. Okay, yeah, you're right, duh. And then I just completely zoned out.
We didn't talk about it, but it would have been crazy for him not to have finished it.
Yeah, I did talk about how he was going to the back. And then I just kind of completely zoned out that, yeah, he did in fact finish it. And then
I think we were both like, okay, Zelga's going to the back of Eastern, we know how this plays out, started watching Lana, and then didn't actually check what the reward was.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's Lana in Dark Cross, which we have not seen.
Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Nice to have.
That helps with routing. And the first one's even logically required.
Yep. And our great tracker, Yunker's wife, is saying Eastern Palace is crystal. So up to 3 of those, and we know where the other 5-6 is, too.
Okay, so we don't know anything about pendants other than desert being one. Oh, there's our second bottle. And now, since we don't have the sewers key, these next 2 checks for Lana are out of logic.
Yep. But is perfectly available. Hyrule Castle small key is not worth very much.
Third bottle. That one even has goo in it.
Yeah, which might have been nice as an alternative to the Mimic clip that Lana did, but Lana was still quite fast with that, so it's not a big deal. Just nice to have.
Is Zelga catching up to Lana down here in front of Escape?
Two bottles behind that Hyrule Castle small key.
Hey, we haven't given people a way to waste your channel points in a while, so we're going to have a blue ball prediction.
Alright.
You
So
got
what
an
do we
inkling,
got?
Greg?
Um, I always like seeing 0 blue balls just because,
Does feel good.
yeah, it feels good. If you want to gamble on the math, the average is, I believe, 3.
Yeah. What's the chances of 0? 1 in 16?
Yeah, I think so. Because the way that it works for anybody who has not played vanilla or just not familiar with it, the first shot of each cycle is guaranteed to be a reflectable orb shot. The next 3 are just straight up 50-50 blue ball or regular reflectable orb. And then the 5th is the lightning. And it just cycles on that 5 attack pattern until you win.
Of course, there's now a bit of a movement in the community for AD modes to just make Aga give 0 blue balls because you're beating Aga regardless, so what's the point in randomizing blue balls?
Yep. I do remember that old versions of the randomizer were just always 0 blue balls.
Right, way back in the day before I was even in the community.
Yeah, I believe this was 2017 to 2018, give or take.
Yeah, I think by the time 512 Swiss rolled around, they were already randomizing blue balls.
Yeah, because
So it must have been a pretty early 2018 change.
when they started randomizing blue balls, it was once they ensured that the number of blue balls was fixed per seed.
Ah, right, yes, because what you really don't want is what you sometimes encounter in NMG races where one person gets like 8 and the other gets 2.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Flip Heel, for the full probability list.
Yep. And that is the cap of 15 is just a function of how these cycles work. You could, in theory, go higher if you miss. But we'll not talk about that because missing's not fun.
Ooh, Lana taking out her bug net, which of course is not on the key sanity tracker.
And just dashes right into a blue ball trying to use it. Very unfortunate.
Now we
But
got red mail.
Yeah, it is just like the bottles in the 3D games, though. You can reflect the magic shots with it.
Dashes into another blue ball, but it's only taking half a heart, and she'll get a full refill after this fight anyway.
Yeah. Just feels a little bit annoying, because A, you get a blue ball, and B, you ran into it. And there's a third.
Which will be our final one, because the next guaranteed energy ball will be the 6th.
Yep. So I believe that is our answer for the channel points.
Which was heavily bet on. We had 9 people bet 72,000 points on 3.
Well, that's people gambling the math and the probabilities.
Still paid out better than 2 to 1.
That's what happens when you get a pull with a lot of options. But congratulations to those people. You've got more channel points to spend on future predictions.
And Lana immediately going over to Lumberjack to get that hook shot.
Yep. You don't see these screens very often in Rando. I guess you see them some in inverted, and then you see them some if you're doing exactly this, going straight from Aga to Lumberjack with the mirror.
Yeah, that's basically the use when you've done Aga to get Lumberjack and want that Lumberjack item.
Yeah. You do those screens the other way in NMG.
Or you can be Zelga and just save and quit to Sank.
That's probably about the same speed, I would have to guess. But we do have Lana being actually the first to the hookshot here by at least a few seconds.
And both runners have the flute out, so we know what they're doing next.
Wonder if either of them are going to go straight to Meyer with it. Maybe both of them will. It's not super dense at this point, but it is 2 checks plus the desert, plus you get medallion information.
Right. Helps you route desert faster when you can just go straight to the back and you have the big key.
Yeah. And you can go in that far left entrance, and with the mirror, you can just mirror right back to it from the right side.
We never actually saw what was on Desert Ledge either.
No, we didn't. Neither runner went over there.
Which also means there's a Gina to check. So there are a few things in the Minor Desert area. Checkerboard.
Oh yeah, checkerboard too. So yeah, it's not that bad on the density, actually.
Looks like Lana wants to do Swamp.
That is the other dense play at this point. Because that's what, like, 10 items in Key Sanity, if I remember right?
Yep.
Somewhere in there.
10 in Swamp, plus 2 in Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, plus Lana can scout the Bombos tablet, which I don't think she's done yet, because I don't think she did Purple Chess.
Did Zelga ever actually talk to the bomb vendor, or does only Lana know about the 5-6?
Only Lana knows about that. And Lana's trying to get the shield eaten, but it's just taking too long and costing her other things.
Typical Lana, and that was a super fast check. It looked like it might have been Bombos.
I think it was Ether, actually. Not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure.
Chat saying Ether.
Map of Eastern. Not that that does us any good at this point.
Okay, I caught it when it came back around. It's Ether. Still an incredibly fast check.
Yep, which is pretty good, not wasting any frames on it.
And Zelga, interestingly, doing the front of Desert before the back. I would just do Landmos at this point and then do the front, but...
Well, you still got to go around and do Checkerboard Cave. So you don't want to do the thing where you do the right side and then just hop down to Agina from there. So considering that, I don't think it matters super strongly. I don't think he's losing any time this way.
And we know the small key isn't on Landmos, so it's not like there's any risk of that happening.
Oh, right. We are missing the small key, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, I completely blanked on the fact that we were. Oops.
Right, and since you need to beat the dungeon, you are not stealing the small key to do the right side. But that also means Landmos isn't in logic, because for all the game knows, you're stealing the small key to do the right side.
Yep. It's very much a Schrodinger's key situation. Whichever way is worse for you is the way you're going to use it. At least as far as the game goes. Meanwhile, we do see Lana did the Specky clip in there to skip the hammer and flooding the first room. Since I already have the hammer, that accomplishes nothing except saving the key.
But that can definitely save time.
Yep. With Diver down here, I don't think Lana is ever going to grab the one in the main room.
Stalfos doesn't want her to set up Diver down, though. There we go.
As soon as it went away, we're all good.
So again, to recap, we need Fire Rod and 2 medallions and Thieves' Big.
Good use of the Ice Rod there from Zelda. This is casual strats.
Oh, lovely! We can do Hera Basement now!
We'll route that in with Turtle Rock at about half past never.
Lanabean, meanwhile, finding half magic on left side swamp, which is a nice safety, but doesn't actually get us anything.
Nah, I mean, we've got the Ice Rod that we're not really using as a weapon. We'll have the Fire Rod eventually that we probably will use to some extent, but it's not going to accomplish a ton.
Ooh, speaking of Fire Rod, hello!
Zelda probably would have preferred that to kill Landmolas, but he did a good enough job that who cares.
He did an admirable job with the Ice Rod.
And here is Sphere 1. Nothing to note.
So now we're down to just, at least on Zelga's side, needing 2 medallions. Oh yeah, and Samaria and Thieves Big.
Yeah, Samaria, Thieves Big. Those bottles are now in Logic. Who really cares about that, though, unfortunately?
It looks like Zelga's gonna do Swamp, so hopefully he'll check Bottle Vendor after... No, Bomb Vendor afterwards.
That was the small key to Thieves Town on Lana's side.
Which is nice to have before the big key, so you know you can full clear the back.
Yep. But yeah, it's Thieves Town big key, Ganon's Tower big key, medallions, Samaria, and I think that is Turtle Rock small key.
And
that
remember, we don't know where our blue and red pendants are, so some of this stuff could be in GT, depending where those pendants are.
Yeah. GT big could always be in GT. That would be things we hate to see.
Right. And Lana is on Argus, and you have to decide on Fighter Sword. Do you want to do a lot of spins, or do you want to do a menu fight and use the hammer? Lana's choosing the lot of spins route.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the more common route among high-level players, but Lana, their first set of pulls was a triple, and I've never seen that before. So that's really something.
Yeah. Good start, but now she's having a bit more trouble.
Yeah, especially because you have to release the spin while the hook's still in motion. Otherwise, you just poke and you lose your spin, and it sucks.
Yeah. Oh, and she got both of the puffs removed, but only hit one of them. Now we're on phase 2.
And for chat wondering, Zelga found the fire rod in Checkerboard Cave. He opted to go to the Misery Mire area, while Lana went straight to Swamp after killing Aghanim.
And what do you know? Argus gives us the one medallion we don't need.
Yep. That greatly increases the odds that we will have a fully lit up tracker at the end of this.
I still need Shovel.
I'd be more worried about the red boomerang.
True.
Because if that's in an open visible area, you bet both runners are skipping it.
So Book didn't really get us anything unless it's logically required for the small key on Mire small key on Ether.
Yeah, I would be giving that a lot of thought when Ether shows up. But until it does, can't do anything about it anyways. And unless Ether's your go mode, you're going to be full clearing it anyways. So it's just kind of, you think about it.
Of course, for go mode, we still need another sword. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah, that's just something you always just assume it'll show.
Right, and most of the time it does, and every so often it doesn't. And nice bomb dupe by Lana, taking advantage of the Aga portal and everything.
Yep. And then taking advantage of the fact that if you hookshot something, you can start dashing before the bomb catches up to you, and it'll dash with you.
She's doing laps on hook speed.
I mean, what else are you going to do? Just stand in front of the bomb while it explodes?
And Pyramid Fairy was a red herring.
Kind of surprised by that.
So I guess we do have Back of Skull Woods. What else do we have?
We have Ice Palace.
Oh, that's true. If you want to do it without Samaria.
Yeah.
It's technically not logically completable without either Samaria or the second small.
The only thing blocked by that, though, is Cold Stairs, so...
Right.
You still go and you full clear it, even if you were trying to stick strictly to logic. That is, I believe, the density play at this point, at least for Zelga. Lana's got this desert area that she's still doing.
Let's see. I mean, you have the flute. You can turn in the green pendant pretty quickly. Skullwoods, you're gonna have to do. You have the mirror, so you can check Ped while you do that. I'd probably prioritize those two things over ice, in the hopes that maybe Samaria turns up, and then it's a much quicker ice.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, I'm not a fan of Ice Palace without Samaria, just because that entire segment between what's it called, that Pengator room at the start and the Freezor chest. It's a fairly long segment, and the bomb jump is cool, but there's just no checks there.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, you're just wandering around. Feels like you're playing Ocarina of Time almost.
Yeah, I mean, if you're go-moding ice, Icebreaker maybe saves you like 15 seconds, but if you're full clearing ice, it saves you considerable time.
Right. Zelga not having the greatest time trying to get that multi-hook there, so it's just taking each one as he gets it. A nice 4-shot quick kill there.
Yeah, but both runners did that. Nice 4-shot Ice Rod quick kill. That's one advantage of the Ice Rod actually firing a bit slower than the Fire Rod. It's easier to do that with the Ice Rod than the Fire Rod.
Yeah, and I mean, you can tell Zelga has both rods, and he chose Ice for that specifically because... and Chad also pointing out, there's still those 3 checks in Hookshot Cave that we could go check too.
Right.
That's pretty far out of the way. Lana failed to hover to them earlier. I guess Zelga technically did too, but he gave it significantly less effort.
Oh, but looks like Zelga is doing Ice Palace okay.
I like this. It's you lose out if Samaria is available outside it, but it's the density play with what we've got available. And going to Sahasrara after this is pretty simple too.
Yeah, I'd still probably beat Skullwoods first, and oh, it looks like ice is a crystal here. We can see the little C on Zelga's side.
Yeah, we picked up the map at some point, but neither runner has checked to show us, because neither runner, I would imagine, strongly cares.
But... yeah, I don't know. I still feel like I'd finish Skullwoods. It's 2 more checks and a mandatory dungeon, since all dungeons are mandatory. And then you can check Ped as well and get some knowledge that way. Like, if a medallion's on Ped, that's important knowledge.
Right. And I think in general, I do agree with you. But if you're not as bothered by Samaria-less Ice Palace as either of us are for any reason.
Right, Zelga clearly doesn't mind.
Yeah. This is the more dense play, and I think it's a perfectly reasonable, considering that, perfectly reasonable play.
And Zelga has been playing so long, he will have 0 problem with bomb jump here.
Yeah, he's one of the most experienced guys in the community at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he was a highly ranked player when I started following this stuff 6.5 years ago.
I'm pretty sure he was when I started following this about a year before that.
He's arguably the best player in the community who's never won a championship of any sort.
I'm kind of
I guess he
surprised
won, like, Pog Championship, but...
yeah, like, main tournament is one thing, but there's enough other well-respected tournaments in this community that I'm actually kind of surprised to hear something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, this was an icebreaker free seed.
Yeah, we were just... it's not quite as rude as putting it in this chest right here, but we were never icebreakering.
Yeah. And good thing Lana's in ice, too, then.
Yep.
But yeah, Zelga's been in, like, the league conference finals a few times. He's done as well as 3rd place in this tournament.
Yeah, he's always putting up, like, good results in pretty much everything he enters. Oh, chat pointing out, he did win the spoiler tournament that SpeedGaming Live ran.
Oh, when was that?
I think that was last year? But that is something you called out earlier. He is a very experienced and capable spoiler runner too. Like this guy just does it all.
Last year, Gamma won it. I remember that because
Yeah.
he forced a bracket reset against Andy.
Yeah, maybe. I admittedly don't know. I was just guessing at it. Chat saying maybe 2 years ago, but we do have here on the other side, Lanabean is keeping up pretty well with Zelda. Like at this point, the main difference between them, Lana just never went finished Eastern, which meant that she couldn't finish Pod when she was doing that. While Zelda did a little bit of extra time into that. Trying to hover the bomb jump, not doing it, gonna just fall back on the bomb. And there's Ether. So yeah, I fully expect Misery Mire next year, probably for both runners. Is Samaria, Ether, pretty much everything you need. And here's Goldster. And we are still on Fighter Sword, like, I want to say like 15 minutes after we last talked about it. But that's where that half magic comes in handy.
Okay, yes, Zelda did win SGL spoiler 2 years ago.
And that brings Zelda's dungeon count up to 5. No, 6. I can't read the chapter today.
Reading is
6.
hard.
Yeah. 6 out of 10 plus 1 Aga. Probably fairly shortly to make it 7. For chat saying that this is possible go mode, we do know for certain we need that Bombos to open up Turtle Rock. And we also need the Thieves Town big key and Ganon's Tower big key, as well as at least one more Turtle Rock small key. This is all dungeons, so we do got to do them all.
And while we're here, probably after Mire, you want to pop into Desert and do the right stuff. Oh, we're popping into Desert before we do Mire. Okay. Either way, since we now have that small, it's 2 easy checks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything Zelda could find here that would speed up Mire considerably? And I think Silver Arrows is the main one. Not even a sword, I don't think would be significant.
Sword would be nice. He has the cape, so he can do cape dash. Well, Thieves Big is useful. That was important.
Yeah, won't make Mire any faster, but we're doing that regardless.
Now we can combo finishing Thieves and finishing Skull Woods.
Yep, save just a little bit of time there.
Yeah, Lana unfortunately still needs to go back and finish up Eastern and Pod. In that order, since we still haven't gotten any more Pod Smalls besides the one that's in Eastern Big, and Lana is currently out of Pod Smalls.
Yeah, but I kind of expect Lana's probably going to follow the natural route here of going and full clearing Mire, then Thieves Town, presumably into Skull Woods.
Sure, I'm just saying even though it looks like the runners are fairly close, Lana has the disadvantage of needing to go back and finish up Pod and Eastern.
Yeah, and Lana unfortunately not getting the full Fire Rod kill on Cold Stare here. Zelda showing us the right side. This stuff is locked behind a sword, only showing us one check of it.
And
the reason
down goes Cold Stare for Lana with some hammer strats.
But the reason those left side Mire checks are locked behind a sword, because we did see a Misery Mire small key on the Ether tablet, and that small key does logically lock that left side. And we also do see a little P right there next to Zelda's magic meter.
And there's our third PR small, so we're Bombos away from Go mode. Oh, and GT Big.
Yeah, Bombos, GT, sword.
And Lana's gonna love finding that fire shield.
Lana has still not been successful in getting her shield eaten.
Oh, there's Pod 5, so we can now probably combo the green pendant turn-in with checking Pod Big Key Chest. Not something you really want to do.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Zelga does that. Maybe if we're still looking for things after Thieves.
Right. Yeah, it depends what we get between here and there anyway, because the next thing is Thieves and Skullwoods.
Yeah.
It is curious, at almost an hour and a quarter, we're still on Fighter Sword. And the only reason the game gave us Fighter Sword was we needed it to beat Aga 1.
Yep. We do have Zelga showing off the spooky action. Displaces the fire rod hitbox from the visual, lets it hit the switch that's over way off screen. Or in that case, not quite off screen.
Let's see if Lana does the cutscene. I mean,
Because
Bombos in
Zelga-
the cutscene could change this race in a major way.
Yes.
It's unlikely, but you never know.
Lana's not doing it, so...
And Zelga is doing Fighter Sword spins. Ouch. Of course, Fighter Sword slashes won't damage the eyeballs.
Yeah, just doing what you can. Gonna face tank some. Switch over to the hammer here. With red mail, this is way safe.
Yeah, it is definitely nice to be doing this with red mail. I think at this point, yeah, you switch to the bow because you have plenty of arrows.
Yeah, and mostly about ensuring that you've got plenty to kill the big eye with. You only need, 8 for it?
Yeah, and he got in some hammer hits there when he was just going crazy with the hammer hits, so he didn't even need 8.
Right. But if you had to blow all your arrows on the small eyes, then you wouldn't have that, and you'd have to just play keep away with it. Now that is Lanabean's Pod 4. So can do those dungeons can do those dungeons in either order too when she goes back. Yeah, and here's going to be Thieves Town into presumably Skull Woods, maybe the other way around for Zelga.
Which gives Lana some incentive to turn in Green Pendant.
Mm-hmm.
And if she does Eastern before Pod, she'll have her 5th Pod small and can check Big Key Chest in addition to beating Pod.
Yeah, which is not a check that I expect Zelga to be doing anytime soon.
Right, if he doesn't get anything here in Thieves or... and Thieves is a crystal we see. Yeah, it's entirely possible if Skullwoods is our 7th crystal, we have to go into GT to find Bombos.
Yep. And we're on 2 out of, 4 small thieves?
For GT, yeah. Which gives us most of the basement.
Yeah, just makes it inconvenient to climb afterwards unless we find more in there, which admittedly fairly likely with 20-something checks down there.
Yeah, there's often at least one GT small in GT.
Yeah, just too many keys and just not needed elsewhere in the logic for it.
Lana also doing caped fighter sword spins. But she does have a full quiver, so again, she can switch to arrows at any point and she should be fine. Yep, here we go.
Big Key Swamp. Fetch quest.
Another check we don't want to make.
Yeah, and I think that will probably be... I would expect that to be last location past... Pod Big Key Chest for Zelga.
Yeah, I am starting to think that it's a decent chance that Skullwoods is a crystal and Bombos is in GT.
Yeah, just everything we're doing and not finding Bombos makes that slightly more likely.
Could always be something crazy like Skullwoods is the 3rd pendant and Bombos is on bed. That would actually be nice and easy at this point. Oh, or it's in blind cell and we're in go mode.
No, we're still full clearance. That GT Big Key can be anywhere.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting about GT Big Key.
Yeah, because we're so used to the fake AD keys modes where it's just in GT. But no, this is real full AD key sanity.
Right. I mean, odds are it's there, and in any case, we're gonna full clear TR. Well, except for Lava Chest, if we don't get the fourth small.
Yeah, it could be in Lava Chest, though, and the fourth small in GT. That would be pretty brutal, but that would probably be the first place they go for it.
If TR is a pendant.
Yes, true. Because if TR is the crystal, there's just no skipping that fourth key
Yeah.
logically.
I mean, you're here. You're definitely doing Skullwoods next because we don't have 7 crystals yet.
Right.
And then we will find out what the lay of the land is.
Nope, there's TR4.
Okay, well, guess we can full clear TR.
Yep. Which means Skull Woods could now very well just be that pendant. You just mirrored a ped right after doing that.
And we still need a sword that we hope just shows up before GT Big Key does.
No. Meanwhile, Lana, I kind of overlooked it, but it is headed for
Zelga?
question mark? I don't understand what either runner is doing at this point.
Yeah, why wouldn't you finish off Skull Woods? Because if that's our 7th crystal, you're now going to have to reclimb the mountain.
Oh.
We don't have any Skullwood smalls.
No,
That's
and Zelga
amazing.
stole the key early on and used it. So you actually...
That's so rare to not have any. Good call,
chat. I completely forgot about that.
Thank you, Matt. Geez. Yeah, it's just so rare to be this far in and not have found any Skullwood smalls.
We might actually be looking at 3 in GT. Not likely, but not off the table.
So I guess you do TR, then you do Hookshot Cave, and
that also explains Lanabean's indecisiveness. Went all the way up to Back Skull Woods, then just left a portal there. But yeah, Lana had the realization there too. And good honor to realize it sooner than we did.
Right. Because again, this is not a common occurrence.
No, I would have absolutely just walked into Skull Woods, bashed my face against the door, and been like, oh, oops.
And hey, TR is our 7th crystal, so Skull Woods is our 3rd pendant.
And that means those keys can be anywhere. Now, I've got to wonder, though, if you're Zelga here, do you want to see the GT Big Key here in Turtle Rock without a Swamp Small Key? Or not Swamp Small Key, Skullwood Small Key, excuse me. Do also note Zelda did skip the Fire Rod chest in Turtle Rock here. Probably going to do that after the boss kill if he's still hunting. But we will see. Mono, meanwhile, is escorting the thief through Thieves Town. Unfortunately, we know Bombo's already in hand. Not gonna find anything super great here.
Now we'll see if that 4th TR small did anything just a heart container.
Now, put it all into logic and let Zelga have the peace of mind that he's not gonna have to backtrack here. Meanwhile, Lana's blind fight there, quite good. Not that Zelga's wasn't, but the thing about the so-called scripted blind fight, the further left blind is when you kill him, the better job you did with it. That's your basic rule.
Because he's moving left to right in the process.
Yep. Lana is going to go scout out this bumper cave here. I believe it's just a red rupee from when Zelga checked it before. Lana is going to flute off to somewhere. This might be the Eastern Pod Sahasrara play for Lana. Yeah. So this will get Lana, if she sees it all the way to completion, including the Pod Big Key chest, will be 2 checks we haven't seen from Zelga.
Hey, there's a Skullwood Small, so at least we know we can now finish it.
Yep. But at this point, we're not going to see that till after GT for Zelga.
Right. Or at least GT Basement if we don't find the big key.
Yeah, that's true.
And Saha just giving us some health.
Lana on 15 in red mail. I guess this is AD, so you generally expect to more or less full clear, but...
Yeah, Zelga turned down the heart container from Zora and hasn't gotten the heart container from Saha.
There's Skullwoods too.
Pod 6. GT3, so now that puts almost all of GT in logic.
Yeah, and it's full clearable now, as long as you just don't open that middle door.
Right. Right, with 2, the issue is map chest, aka firebar room.
Yeah, but with 3, you're flying pretty high.
And here we're definitely gonna do a menu boss fight to get the hammer out.
Did Lana? No, Lana's doing pod first, so did not have the key to do Vanilla Big Key. So we will see if she comes back to that after Eastern.
Okay. 3 cycles for Zelga to take down the Firehead.
And for chat asking if they might have to check the pedestal this seed, our third pendant is Skull Woods, but the only things we are missing that are of any sort of relevance are the Ganon's Tower Big Key and the third Skullwood Small Key. Ganon's
Third
Tower Big
Skullwood
Key,
Small is definitely not on PED.
yeah. Ganon's Tower Big Key absolutely could be on PED, but it's not logically available until we find that third Skullwood Small, which at this point it is looking very much like it's just in GT.
Yeah. And of course there could be a sword on PED.
Yeah, that's true too. Of course, in that case, there's 2 others available still.
Oh, okay. Well, at least we weren't missing silvers, so even if we finish with Master Sword Silvers is a whole lot better than Master Sword Silverless.
Yeah, Master Sword Silverless, you can find a rhythm and do it, but it is just long. Zelga headed straight for GT now. Nothing. I mean, you're not gonna go down the mountain. You are gonna stop for our hookshot cave chests. I forgot about these.
3 quick checks.
But you're not gonna go down the mountain for Skull Woods, only to come back up for it after.
Right. And there's our third Skullwood Small to put it in logic. So, yeah, chances are, just in terms of what we haven't checked, that GT Big is in GT.
Yeah, there's 2 checks in Skull Woods plus the pet it could be.
And that was a very nice play by Zelga to send that silver in front of him to take down the Lionel before he got there.
Yeah, and it was just barely in front of him, too. That was
that was
good.
super good timing, because you're not taking down a Lionel with Fighter Sword, even Fighter Sword spins.
Right. Oh, here we go.
So what do you think? Right to compass room and then left?
I would assume so.
Do you do tile room?
Probably not. Like, you treat this as a standard.
Oh,
like,
there's
button.
GT4, so now fully everything's in logic.
Yeah. But I say that you generally treat this as you would like just an open mode. You come in, you need to find the big key in the basement. That sort of clear.
I was just looking to see if we've gotten every small key yet. We are still missing a Meyer small and an ice small, so we could keep digging up small keys that don't do anything for us. Though, that reminds me, Meyer cutscene was not checked by either runner.
That is true. And we are at a point, GT big key could be literally anywhere except upstairs. But we do have all the big keys, so if we do see a big key, we know it's for GT.
Yeah. Right, which also means that Swamp Big Chest is another ugly check. We have a few ugly one-offs that we really don't want to see GT Big Key in.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you're pulling for Lanabean to make a comeback and try to take this race, that's the sort of thing you probably want to see.
If you're pulling for her, you want her to go back into Pod and find it in the Pod Big Key Chest.
Yeah, because that's another one of those ugly spots for Zelda. It's probably among the least ugly, considering Sahasrahla is there too for him. But that's a pretty rough spot.
It would allow Lana to go mode GT.
Yes, which would be very big.
Right. So that's just a huge time savings, even if it's the first thing Zelda does after Skull Woods. But we're about to find out.
Yep. Moment of truth here for Lanabean. No.
So what are our ugly spots outside of GT? Have we seen Graveyard Ledge? I feel like we did. Hey, there are the boots.
I find it a bit funnier most of the time when it's a second pair of boots.
Yeah, I think Ladder does that.
Yeah, but that was not placed according to any sort of logic, so there's no... You didn't actually need boots this seed sort of thing. There it is.
Okay, but you have to... At this point, you finish clearing the basement because you're hoping for a sword.
Yeah, you still need one of those.
And... You know, you have GT Big Chest, Bob's Chest, and Ice Armors. You might not do Tile Room looking for a sword.
Yeah... I mean, Tile Room is an ugly check. Is it worse than any of the other ones outside of GT at this point, though?
There are 3 swords out there, though.
I know, but...
And you still have 2 checks in Skull Woods, and Ped is a pretty easy check.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because you do have to go back to Skull Woods.
And, of course, there's still 4 more checks on the climb.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very happy to see GT Big in Rando Room. That's where it belongs.
That is my favorite place for it.
$45 behind Ice Armos, but that doesn't help us.
Yeah, for chat asking what we haven't seen yet, we have seen Pyramid Fairy. We have not seen the Misery Mire Big Key Chest, the so-called cutscene chest. We have not seen the back of Skull Woods. We have not seen Hera Basement.
We haven't seen Swamp Big Chest. Oh, did Zelda skip Firelocks? Because Lana just got Master Sword.
Yeah, he did. I forgot. I called that out when it happened, and then I was like, oh, he'll do this after, and then he never did.
I totally forgot. Wow. Okay, that's kind of important. That's an unfortunate skip.
That does reduce the number of swords Zelda can find in decent spots. Because it's like you imagine, say, 1 sword in Tile Room, 1 sword in probably Cutscene Chest, and Myers, the worst one left at this point.
Yeah. Right, and only 2 swords play into logic at all. The other 2 swords are placed completely randomly. And yeah, that's important because that gives us access to the Meyer Small on Ether tablet.
Yeah, it puts that check into logic now, where it wasn't before. Which actually, it does increase the odds of that being a sword.
Very nice Lanmo 2 fight there.
Yeah, pretty much everything about Zelga's gameplay here has been just on point.
Other than skipping right side TR.
His gameplay, not his rapping.
Okay, fair. Yeah, no, I mean, his execution is incredible.
Yeah, it always is.
It has been as long as I've been aware of him as a runner.
Yeah.
And Lanabean has gotten quite strong over the years.
Yeah. Like, you've got to be, like, it's something I say this every year because every year it's still true, but the level of the community and the gameplay just keeps going up. Like, there's no slowdown there.
Okay, Zelga bailed out.
So,
wonder if Lana will finish with Buttersword or if she's not going to bother opening those chests.
I give it about a 50-50.
Or if she opens one, will she open the other one as well? Because, yeah, you might open it because you don't really want to do Master Sword Ganon if you can avoid it. But then you get tempered, are you going to still open the other one?
I mean, I would have to just inflate my check count half out of muscle memory. But it's minor things like that that cost you seconds that just, when you're racing, can't really do that.
Right, and Buttersword doesn't really give you anything. It makes the 1-in-1 on the first 2 Ganon cycles easier, but you can do a 1-in-1 with Tempered.
Yep.
Tempered absolutely saves you time over Master Sword on the Ganon fight.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But as long as you do get the 1-in-1, Gold doesn't save you any time over Tempered.
Right, and Gold doesn't do anything on the Moth fight, and Vanilla Gold can't even injure Moth. They had, the devs for Rando had to patch that.
Which, thankfully, they did. I don't think anybody cared about the potential oversight there in Vanilla, because you're really not supposed to have Gold Sword in the Moth fight in Vanilla.
Right, you would have to get your mitts out of Thieves, rescue the Smith to get your Tempered, and beat Ice and Meyer to unlock Pyramid Fairy before beating Moth.
Yeah, which basically means that you skip Skullwoods entirely to get Bombos instead, which means you know what you're doing. Like getting your mitts out of Thieves Town early is a pretty common casual thing, just because casuals love the Tempered Sword too. But going all the way to Gold Sword before Moth, not quite so much. Especially when you've got that big flashing 3 on your map.
And the nice thing about this having been an Agaseed is we can just save and quit to Pyramid once we finish with Moth. In fact, if it hadn't been an Agaseed because it's all dungeons, you would have wanted to do Aga after GT before going to Moth for that reason.
Yeah, because that is by far the best time to do it. Ideally, you would want to just do GT and then Aga 1 right into Ganon. Obviously, would not have been possible this seed, even if Lumberjack wasn't a thing. I say that. You could have done some convoluted pretzel routing to make it happen. Would have been slow, though. And for chat asking, Lana's Master Sword was in the Fire Rod chests on the right side of Turtle Rock, which Zelga skipped and just never went back to.
And mercifully wasn't punished for it, because otherwise he'd be on a heck of a sword hunt right now as Lana gets her silvers along with her 7th crystal.
Yep. So it's going to be over to GT for Lana. How quickly can she get to Rando Room? And then how much does she do after that?
You know, I have to say, my internal mental guess for this seed length was, well, Zelga's playing, it'll probably be about 140. And it looks like it's going to be about 140.
Yeah. And honestly, this was, in a lot of regards, a pretty friendly for AD seed. We did come fairly close to full clearing it, but it was done in a pretty efficient manner. The only thing to really complain about is having to search the GT basement, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Zelga's probably going to be somewhere into the 190s for his collection.
That sounds about right, I think.
I don't think he's hit 200 because there are enough visible checks that he skipped because they were worthless.
Yeah. 200 requires a special seed in a lot of ways. Or intentionally going for it.
Okay, Zelga gets the 1 cycle on phase 1. Well set up for the 1 cycle on phase 2.
That should be it. Yep, 1 and 1. Gold Sword would not have saved him any time.
And as we discussed at the beginning, with Zelga taking this, he'll move to 3-0. Mana will be 1-3. She basically has to root for Zelga to go 6-0 now, because if he sweeps everyone, then she can sweep Tenet and still position herself well.
Yeah. It's like there's really... If Zelga goes 6-0, then either Lanabean sweeps Tenet, goes 3-3, and then potentially ties Rabbit Wombat if he does the same. Or splits with Tenet, everybody goes 2-4.
Right, and then we get to see the rare 3-game playoff. But get your GGs in for Zelgadissan. Official race time of 1:39:38.
And his quest is over, at least for today.
Yeah. I was looking from the race room like Lana will forfeit once she gets the GT Big Key. So we'll give her half a minute to find that in Rando Room, and then we'll get the runners in here.
Yep. And we do have Zelga here in with us. I am going to ask you to hold for just a moment, though. Wait, get Lanabean in here, talk to both of you together. Lanabean is right about to find that Ganon Sour Key.
Yeah, she actually hit the forfeit button at this point, but she is about to find it, and then we'll get her in here. Oh, nope, she stopped right before getting GT Big Key. Okay, well, let's mark the forfeit and get her in here as well. But GG Zelga.
Hey, GG's, thank you.
Yeah.
You like those swords?
I got so bailed out, especially after talking with Lana and finding out where that other one was. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened with right side TR?
It's slow, and I had all of GT, so it was a 100% intentional skip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I saw that you were doing it at the start, I was like, oh, you'll just go back for it after you finish if you're still hunting for things. And then, no. But it turned out well for you.
Yeah, it just felt like one of those things where it just, I don't know, I hate that check and keep sanity. It feels so slow doing that. And then you're so close to being able to just go into GT and find probably everything you're looking for. So.
Oh, and I'm also reading the race chat as we welcome Lanabean, GG. So I'm seeing the explanation of, I noticed there was a point in CACWell where you just paused for a bit. I didn't realize your auto tracker wasn't working and you had to manually update everything.
Yeah, I didn't even notice until I was in Kakariko that nothing had been updating, and I tried restarting my tracker, I tried restarting my the thing that allows it, and it wasn't working, so I knew the only way that I could fix it would be if I shut off my console and turn it back on, so that wasn't happening.
Yeah. Well, I guess in that regard, it's a good thing this race wasn't so close that made a difference.
No, it couldn't have lost more than 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes with auto tracking and all that stuff, but I don't think it would have made up the 10 or so I needed to finish.
I definitely understand those issues. I have had my fair share of them. It does feel bad, but you did run a pretty solid race.
I appreciate it. I looked at my tracker before we started, and it said it's working, it's connected, so I didn't think anything of it.
And we did appreciate that the patented Zelga Eastern Palace strat paid off.
Yeah, that was really nice of being able to just take the bow from pod right there and then go back in, get everything, which included pod big, pod small, to just do even more. So that was very fortunate for sure.
We were trying to figure out, as you were clearing out pod, whether you would mirror to Eastern if you didn't find a bow in pod.
Probably not, just because I had just got the cape and I was so focused on wanting to get the hook shot. But then once the bow showed up, I was like, well, no, we got to do this.
It almost feels like the first intended bow is on Trinex.
Yeah, pod 6 is on Laser Bridge. So I would have to think about the whole, was it logical, or were you supposed to have that bow on 5 keys in the Dark Maze, or is somehow like, was that Bombos unavailable without it? I don't know.
I mean, Bombos was in upstairs Thieves Town. The big key was in Desert Palace, but I'm blanking on where the small key was. The desert.
I got that like right after Desert. I think that was.
If you were Swamp or Ice, one of those two.
I'm pretty sure it was Ice, because I went to Ice and got Samaria. So I went right from there to Mire, and then after Mire I did Desert right, so I'm pretty sure it was Ice.
No, then I think you're right that Trinex probably was the logical first bow.
Right, because, yeah, that... Right, Lava Chest had, like, the 6th pod small, right? No, it wasn't Lava Chest.
Lava Chest wasn't anything. It was Laser Bridge.
Oh, it was Laser Bridge, okay.
I mean, they could have been unlocked at about the same time on Laser Bridge, I guess, but the game probably just intends you to kill Trinex first, then take care of everything else.
Yeah. Nah, this seed, I mean, I don't know what Zelga's completion rate is. His credits aren't finished rolling yet on the stream, but it's one of those things. You guys pretty much full cleared. There was a small number of just bad checks left outside of GT that you both skipped.
I think I had very few left in the game. I think I had Spike Cave, Purple Chest, Swamp Big.
Yeah, Swamp Big and Mire cutscene, I think, were the main ones.
And then by the end, I think Skull, obviously we didn't need to do the bridge chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still had a couple others too. Like, I never did Magic Bat or Graveyard Ledge. I never turned in the Green Pendant. That's about it. Pyramid Fairy, I guess. I never even knew what the 5/6 was. I just eventually saw I had it.
Yeah, it was Hera and Swamp. So, stuff you had pretty early.
200 pieces in Pyramid Fairy, I can vouch.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's crazy stuff like Swamp Big Chest and...
I didn't have much left. I think I probably cleared a bit more than you, to be honest, overall, but not by a ton.
Yeah, I have more green on the map than I feel like I typically would. I have 1 in a lot of dungeons left.
Yeah. But this is a seed, like, even though you did come a little bit close to full clearing, like you said, Zelga, you've got just 1 in a lot of dungeons, but your overworld is pretty clear. Your dungeons are mostly clear, just skip checks here and there.
Yeah,
but
what was it? 1 in Pod, 1 in Swamp, 1 in Skullwoods, 1 in Hera, 1 in Mire, 2 in TR.
Yeah.
Yep, that's about it.
You were able to clear it out in a really efficient manner. I feel like even starting with boots, 140 is quite a solid time for AD.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, I feel like full clear modes tend to kind of favor the way I like to play Rando anyway. So I feel like this mode definitely plays to my strengths more so than some others. So if it's not going to be entrance, this feels like probably the next best.
Opposite for me, this is my worst mode pretty much around, just because I'm not very optimized in full clearing. I had too much double dipping. This kind of worked out.
Risk. But hey, both of you went into ice at a good time considering where Samaria was.
Yeah. That was interesting, and it counts as a rule of fire too, since Bombos was on ice. So
Yeah, because we were both talking about how we probably would have delayed it. But at the time we were talking about that, we also forgot the Skull Woods key situation was a little bit silly.
Yeah, I was really worried that Lana had either hovered the hookshot cave key or had just been able to get it smoothly with the hookshot if you go to pot early or something. So I was really worried that, oh god, there's just a sword or GT big on Moth or something.
Yeah, but instead we just had a situation where you needed a Skull Woods key to clear the dungeon, and it just never showed up until Late Turtle Rock.
Well,
Which-
when you got on Dark Death Mountain, it was evil. Sorry, go ahead, Greg. I apologize.
It is kind of
Yeah.
interesting in those where it's like not having any Skullwoods keys, but not having the map. I still felt like really strongly, okay, Skullwoods is dependent because the game's giving me absolutely nothing. It's kind of nice in seeds like this where you can kind of extrapolate that data without actually being told it.
And I kept having to menu because I was like, I don't think I found any skull keys, but I gotta check. And I kept forgetting to check, and I kept menuing to check other things. But yeah, it turns out I was going towards skull in the front half, and then I looked at my key count. I'm like, no, my tracker's accurate. All right, we'll just leave.
Yeah, that's when we realized too that, yeah, you need the Skull Woods key, and we just straight up haven't seen it. Like, that was probably the weirdest and trickiest thing about this seed if I had to pin one thing, even with the GT Big Key being in GT.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely the most awkward piece for me. Just it feels weird whenever you've got a dungeon that you're going to GT and it's one that you're normally able to beat very easily, but you weren't able to then. It always feels a little weird.
And for once, we're not looking for any CT smalls.
Yeah, I found the hook shot like a minute in and like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then both the keys were just completely free, so
Yeah, me too. I routed north immediately. I was like, oh, hi, hookshot. Well, I guess we're doing Aga pretty quick.
it still took me a long time to get to that cape, honestly, probably like 30, 40 minutes.
That took me quite a while too. I think I had 3 pod smalls or something going in there, and I decided finally to go ahead and just do it. I only had very little. I think I had like the front of escape and a couple of other random checks like purple chests available to me, and maybe spike cave. So it was like, may as well just go in. The game probably wants you to find something.
Mm-hmm. And it had a lot for you.
It did. Pod was pretty dang loaded. I just wish I didn't spend that harmless key before. I strongly considered not checking that and just going straight to the left. If I did that, I would have beaten Pod, gone straight into Eastern, gotten another small key, come checked another check in Pod, then left. Probably never returned, but instead, the issue in Pod at the Bow, I decided to go ahead and leave, which put off beating both Pod and Eastern for an additional 30 minutes or so. I don't think I ever went back until I had one more Pod small, which took forever.
Yeah, it's not like you weren't clearing while doing that, but towards the middle and later sections of the race, that did kind of feel like it was something hanging over you, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it would have been beneficial to go ahead and just dip back into Eastern. Obviously, it's completable. Maybe you get something required, but I just decided to go ahead and just head on out and come back with a pod small to be able to do both. And I did, but it still got me 2 dungeons, a half hour later completion than it should have been.
Anyways, I am looking ahead at the schedule, and it doesn't look like either of you have scheduled any further races, so is that still accurate, or?
Yep, that's accurate. We got one more with Rabid Wombat, and then I think we all are still currently unscheduled against Tenet.
Has Tenet, put an appearance in your scheduling thread?
Yeah, there's at least been a message or two.
Okay.
We kind of respond with our schedules, and I don't think Tenda has responded to like proposals or anything like that.
But we'll have some to look forward to see when those races do pop up on the schedule.
And as we discussed, Lana, I'm sure you're a big fan now of Zelga just going 6-0 to give you the best chance of advancing.
I knew it was happening. Best I have a chance of doing is 3-3 at this point, and maybe I'd tell Wombat at this point, but it depends on how our matches with Tenet go.
Yeah, right. It depends how you all do against Tenet.
Yup. If Wombi wins out against Tenet, and if I win out against Tenet, then that puts us both at 3-3, and I think a playoff since we're 1-1 against each other.
Yeah, assuming Zelga beats Wombat.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah. Assuming Zelga beats Wombat, and assuming we would even be able to 2-0 10 in each of us, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Oh, we discussed that if you each split with Tenet, then we get to see a three-way playoff race.
Never thought of that, but yeah, that'd be fun, actually, yeah.
I mean, that puts a lot on me being able to run the table here, and with the opponents that I have, I would not say that is a guarantee by any means.
No, I'm just saying that's what Lana's rooting for.
Yeah, for sure.
The 4-person double round robin groups leads to a fair number of silly scenarios sometimes.
Oh, I'd love to have a 3-way face-off. It's exciting, people want to watch it, and it's winner moves on to the next round and probably gets matched up against somebody extremely dangerous, and that's fine.
I'd say Zelga, but I think the bracket doesn't allow for that.
There have definitely been rematches in the past. I don't know if that's something that's accounted for anymore.
Okay.
I just got to watch my skips. If I face Zelga again or another runner of that caliber, I just got to buck up and skip stuff and hope it doesn't cost me. That's all I could do. Execution-wise, I can't keep up, and just the ability to full clear, Zelga's got 2 arms and 2 legs ahead of me on this one, so I was just lucky to be in close to Gomon by the time you finished. That was my goal, is to be in Gomon by the time you finished, and I almost got there.
Yeah, you were mostly in the right room.
Exactly. So only losing by maybe 10-ish minutes. It's not that bad. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But GG Zelga, and thank you everybody for putting this on. Thank you to Drossi and Reg for commentating, and Yoinkers for stepping in close to last minute, I think, for tracking. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Zelga.
I was going to echo all that. Thank you. And big GGs to Lana for a good series. And I'll be pulling for you along with everyone else for the rest of the way. And
GG Zelga.
yeah, thank you guys for the commentary, the tracking, the restream. Really appreciate it. And
Yeah, I'm going to echo basically the same points. I mean, it was good race. Had fun calling it with Drossi. Big thanks to Yoinker's wife stepping up doing the tracking. And if you want to see more of these runners, you can follow them on their Twitch channels. The links are already in the Twitch chat if you're watching live or watching as a Twitch VOD. Otherwise, it's just twitch.tv and then the names you see up at the top of the screen, zelgadissan and Lanabean. So yeah, check them out.
Yeah. And again, thank you to both of our runners, and good luck to both of you going forward with your remaining races and groups. And of course, shout outs to Yoinker's wife, amazing tracker as always. And Reg, it's been awesome to get back in the booth with you after all this time.
Yep. Let me look ahead. I think we have one more race about to start over on SpeedGaming 3 tonight. We have Loria versus Ganon's Gone Wild starting, if you're watching live, starting in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to raid you over to that when we sign off.
Starting in about an hour on this channel, we have Wall Kicks versus Aha. That's going to be some Group O action. Both of those races are going to be open mode. And then
People race it!
Yeah. And then closing out the night, following the Loria vs. Ganon's Gone Wild race on SG3, we'll have Dr. Earworm vs. Leaf playing Cross Hunt. And on this channel, after Wall Kicks vs. Ahab, we'd have Killer App vs. Kotse playing ADTs, same mode we just saw. So still several races on tonight if you want to watch more rando. And then obviously, the coming days, the group stage is a huge number of races, so there will be no shortage of content for you guys to watch. But I think that will be pretty much it for us.
Yeah, so as we said, we will get you over to that Leoria GGW race that is just starting on SpeedGaming 3, and thank you all for watching here.
Yep, we'll see you guys some other race.